I want to begin the course by looking at your calendar and organizing your day, just one day.
This video is brought to you by Appy Pie Academy.
In some other courses of mine, I have shown how to use the calendar by creating an entire week's worth of schedule, but I feel like it's too much to go over. And I actually feel there's a lot more value in focusing on one day because it helps me to explain greater concepts better. And once you understand how to plan one day, you can plan all the other days. And I'm using Google Calendar here. It's free. If you have Gmail, you have access to this. So it's pretty easy to get to. If you are not sure how to get to the Google Calendar, the easiest way is to go to google.com. Make sure you're signed into your Gmail because Google has universal login. All their services can be logged into with the same email account. So you click here and then you go right into calendar, which is right here. And you'll get taken to exactly the calendar for whatever time you're planning. So let's focus on this calendar. And by the way, you can use any other calendar. I'm just choosing this because it's free and it's so accessible and it's pretty standard. And you don't have to use a calendar. You can actually use pen and paper. That's totally fine. What I really do want you to get is the concepts, why we are planning each thing. So the planning must absolutely start on the day before. See here, I have an arbitrary date, Monday, 23rd, whatever, doesn't matter. If it's Monday, the previous Sunday, you need to have made this because your brain begins to think about the greater challenges that lie ahead during sleep, during idle time, during lax time, so that when you're at 6 a.m. here, and yes, I'm sorry, I'm making you wake up at 6 a.m. Don't worry about it. We'll get to this point in a second. But when you're here, when you wake up and you're ready to start working, you don't have to ask yourself, what should I do today? You've already thought about it. You've already had a lot of time to think, rethink, and rethink again, and plan and replan so that you know that you're going to be working on the most impactful tasks. A huge point that I want to put across, and I really want you to focus on this, is that a huge part of all productivity is working on only very, very few tasks, but the most important and impactful ones. Because if you incorrectly choose a task, like you kind of choose maybe a more fun task, but one that's not going to be impactful and not going to help you to get to your goals as much, guess what you're doing? In the time that you're working in the non-impactful task, that's the exact time where the most impactful work is idle. It's not getting worked on. So it's actually detrimental. We're going to talk about decision making later in this course, but it is really important for you as part of your planning. This is all before this Monday and probably before that Sunday right before this. The greater planning, you have to take advice, think and rethink what are the most important few projects, because if you're working from home, presumably either on your own business or as part of a job, you cannot make mistakes. You cannot afford to make mistakes, especially if you're going to be doing your own business, because you're going to be paying for mistakes out of your pocket. You don't have resources to recover from a lot of mistakes. So, assuming you've chosen the right tasks, I would recommend going to sleep around 9, 10, 11 p.m. is the latest on Sunday, because you need to be sharp on Monday morning. Right after, the importance of choosing the right task is doing it well. And if you're groggy in the morning, you're just not going to do it well. You're going to make errors. You're going to have bugs. You're going to make mistakes. You're going to have to redo those tasks. You're not going to do that most important thing to your best ability, and you're going to get poor results. And then you're going to wonder, well, I chose the wrong task, or what was wrong? You were groggy and you made mistakes and you didn't perform to your best ability. Guess what? Your competitor performed to their best ability. Don't let that happen. You have to make sure that you perform to your best ability. Steps to do that are go to sleep at a reasonable hour. That's one. Now here is the first task, 6 a.m. You do not have to wake up so early. This is if you're ambitious. And of course, I'd love for you to be ambitious. You don't have to. I know for some people this is torture, but the goal of the first hour is for your mind to become alert. This can be accomplished through light exercise. I know some people want to go intense gym workouts early in the morning. I just wouldn't want you to get too tired and have to recover for a few hours. you need light exercise. Maybe in the park, maybe walk the dog, maybe light walk, maybe some meditation. It may be not exercise at all. Some people love coffee. It's just that your mind has to get ready for work, because we're operating under the assumption here that this work is incredibly important to you. Otherwise, you would not be taking this course. Otherwise, if it's not important, then what's the point? So if the assumption is that this work is incredibly important, we need your mind to be firing on all cylinders. It's going to be incredibly impactful to the results you're going to get later. It's really important. If you're tired, there's almost no point working, because you'll make slow progress. It will be miserable, tiring work, and you're just not going to do good work. So whatever you can do, light exercise, relaxation, meditation, or if you actually feel alert, you can get right into work. The whole point of the first hour is to get you energized mentally. Now, next task. Notice I gave it 4 hours. This is because you're sharp. It doesn't mean that you're going to work straight 4 hours. That's impossible. You cannot maintain laser sharp focus for that long. The assumption is that during this 4-hour task, you're going to be taking breaks. Every 30 or 60 minutes, you're going to go on a break, stretching break, mental break, whatever gives you a little reboot, whatever re-energizes you. If you don't do that, you'll just get kind of burned out and tired. Nobody can force themselves to work that hard, and you still have your whole day ahead. Now, another thing is we're giving a lot of time to one task, because intense focus, when you're alert on your most important task, is going to get you the best results. Around the end of this task, I allocated a larger break. This can be more exercise. This can be something for you, because you are working from home. You're going to be able to put in more than an 8-hour day, sometimes a 12-hour day easily, just because there's no commute. So you can take bigger breaks. It's good to get re-energized. And also, if you sit all day, you're going to start to develop back issues, all kinds of those kinds of issues. You need to move around. I also struggle with this sometimes, because I sit all day sometimes and focus as much as possible, but I know that, but as much as possible at the same time, when I can force myself, I just go on a break. Now, I also added here a slightly shorter task 2 and a slightly shorter task 3. Around early evening time, you already are going to put in a lot of time, more than 8 hours. In fact, if you start at 6 a.m., by 2 p.m., that's an 8-hour workday. Everything on top of that is extra, right? So you can easily have a super workday, like over 10 hours, up to 12 hours, and actually finish it pretty early evening. So you can have time for work-life balance, family, exercise, hobbies, whatever that you like to do, you can do it. And you have plenty of time. And of course, you want to finish up, give yourself an hour or half an hour. After that, if you have some quiet time in the evening, without having too much screen time, you need to plan the day ahead so that the same process can happen. You can work when you're most alert and work on the most important things. And if you do that day in, day out, day in, day out, day in, day out, you're going to get great results. So much so that some days can be all leisure. You can give yourself a lot of days of all leisure, because this is going to get you better results if you were at an office. You don't have to commute to the office. You don't have to deal with the noise. You don't have to deal with the extra distractions. Of course, you may have some distractions at home. We're going to be talking about how to deal with those, but there are fewer distractions typically. And this is what I do. And this is what I know that some of the more effective people who've worked for a long time at home successfully do also. This level of time management allows you to be so productive that you're going to be a lot further in your projects than you had assumed prior. And because of that, you're actually going to be able to open up a lot of time while feeling guilty. Oh my God, why do I have such a lot of free time? But at the same time, you'll still be ahead of your project. It will be kind of confusing mentally, but it's actually a really great place to be. And because you are working at home most of the time, let's say you want to just go to the park for a longer amount of time, let's say Wednesday, you can do that because you are working from home and you can just reshuffle your day. So instead of having your family and exercise time here, you can easily have it at any other time of the day whenever you feel like at your schedule, as long as you plan for the other 3 tasks. Now, if you're building healthy habits and if you're just starting out with this, I recommend having a more or less regular schedule so that you start to get in a groove. Because if you're starting out like this, it's not easy to do this consistently, regularly. But once you get comfortable, you can flip this upside down however you want and get back to it in the future days. It won't be negatively impactful to you. And lastly, throughout your day, there's going to be a lot of companies and people and everybody else trying to get your attention, trying to get you to do something else. Guess what? If it's not on your calendar, you're not doing it because you decided that when you had a clear mind on Sunday. That's when you created your schedule for Monday. And before Sunday, when you had your even more intense planning for your longer period of time, you decided these are your most important tasks. So you're going to get all kinds of emails, all kinds of secondary projects. Most of the time, you're just going to want to reject them because you've already seen that this is going to be the most impactful tasks. That's why they are here. And if you feel like you're wrong, Monday night, you can rethink it and replan your Tuesday and adjust slightly what the tasks are, because it's okay to admit, okay, maybe there's something else that will be more impactful, because you don't want to be stubborn with yourself. You want to be open-minded. But at the same time, don't just fall for, shiny new objects. If there's something cooler, really evaluate it strongly before you do that project. So try to do this for yourself. This is a pretty standard, really solid way to schedule your day. And again, this does not have to be in a calendar like this. Earlier on, I used to do it in a piece with pen and paper. Sometimes I do this in my head now. But the most important thing is not where it is, but that you absolutely have it and absolutely stick with it. That's the most important thing.